Minister of Transport Fikile Mbalula and Minister of Home Affairs Motsoaledi are currently visiting Tambo International Airport. This follows reports of illegal immigration activities. The ministers will meet at airport law enforcement authorities to discuss plans to make South African airports safe. They are also expected to engage the media on measures taken to fight corruption and illegal immigration at ports of entry, such as airports across the country. Let's go live to Tambo International Airport now.
I was sitting right here in the media briefing you about the arrest of a Home Affairs official in immigration who was aiding Bangladeshi citizens to come into the country illegally. We also told you that time that sometimes they even get wheeled out through huge wheeled dustbin, dustbins out of the airport. Since that time, we are on high alert. We are on high alert because we know that something like that is happening. So on Wednesday night, I was conducted by the head of the airport here, immigration service at the airport from Home Affairs. And he sent him some pictures. I got very interested. I rushed to the airport here at night. Then I found that 4 Bangladeshi and 4 Pakistani citizens were arrested. And the story is that in recent days, the number of Bangladeshi and Pakistani citizens who come via Qatar Airways en route to Eswatini. They are going to Eswatini or Lesotho, but they use Tambo as a transit point. And you might be aware that when you are transiting a country, you are not visiting that country. So no visas are required from you because you are not coming to South Africa, you are going to Eswatini. If Eswatini want visas from you, then they will demand those. Now what happened is once you get off the plane, you move over to the transit launch. And then from the transit launch, we'll move over to the country where you want to go to. But in this instance, which was followed by a member of South African Police Services, who is part of the security here, on the route to the transit launch, these people suddenly they take a detour, and one of them is holding a phone, meaning somebody is directing them through the airport because they don't know this airport, they are not from here. And so the police officer followed them, and we discovered that they actually don't go to the transit launch, they go through fire hydrants. The openings through fire hydrants, they get in there, there are passages where the pipes are moving. They move through those passages and they jump into the ceilings and all that, and later on find their way out of the airport. But as I said, they were caught, and that's why I rushed to the airport. And of course, I phoned state security because I wanted them to interrogate them very thoroughly, because we want to know what that operation is all about, but we also want to know why this type of thing is happening now. And one of my discoveries is that Home Affairs did stop transit visas in 2015. People no longer need transit visas when they go through South Africa. And I think that is being abused. From what we've seen, it's being abused very thoroughly. So I'm here to announce that one of the measures we're going to take, apart from the alertness of the police to catch the rascals, is that we are going to demand transit visas. If you transit here to Eswatini, we must understand the reasons why. But we also are aware that even if they were not caught here or they were not successful to get into the country as they were doing, they would have continued to Eswatini. Last time when I was in Libombo border post, we heard that that's what happened. They go to Eswatini or Mozambique, and they found their way out through our porous borders. But now remember, we have got border management authority now coming to man our borders. to stop such things. But we are deciding in Home Affairs that the transit visa will once more be needed. The state security has debriefed them for 8 hours. They've got information about what's happening, but as you know, naturally, some things won't be made public. But I'm sure you saw on social media when they were pulling people out of that fire hydrant, that small fire hydrant. When they move in there, there's a passage. That passage is for pipes and wires and all that. And they were moving through it, but unfortunately, as I said, the police officer caught them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister of Home Affairs, Minister Motsoaledi. I'll now hand over to the Minister of Transport, Mr. Fikile Mbalula, for his brief. Thank you.
No, leave it, Lozi. Thank you. Let me just sort myself out. You know, I've gone completely paperless.
Well, thank you very much, Lozi. Lozi is our new spokesperson at the Department of Transport. We will introduce her to you properly and through social media. She's very efficient, and then and they are very young. She's very young, you can see. And Savi Lozi, welcome aboard. In the department, she's replacing Ayanda Alipay in our Ministry of Transport. Well, we'll talk about those issues at a later stage. Let me take this opportunity and greet my colleague, the Minister of Home Affairs, Minister of Action. In the township lingo, they will call him Papa Action. Dr. Motsoaledi is very passionate about what he does. And what the President wants from us, me and him and others, is not to act in silos. Is to act in concert, to act as a unit and attack as such. So as much as this is AXA, but you need Motsoaledi here, you've got Fikile here, Minister of Police, you've got Minister of Intelligence, Mondli Gungubele, and which other one I'm leaving behind, I don't know. But SARS, Minister of Finance, and we've been working as such in relation to what is happening in this place. The Minister and the Acting Director General of Transport, Mr. Makaipeya, also here, and the Director General of Home Affairs, who's also here with us, and the Director General of State Security, whom is not with us but is busy with us at the present moment in terms of visiting this place, and the CEO of South African Civil Aviation Authority, Ms. Poppy Koza, the Commissioner for Border Management Agency, brand new from the box, Dr. Mike Masiapato, the Border Management Agency under Dr. Motsoaledi is the one that will be executing a grand plan in terms of what must happen to our borders. Quite exciting work at an infancy stage is coming up in terms of our work, as there's been a lot of complaint about porous borders. So we are hard at work. We've got a border management agency. Now we can talk about, and there'll be other issues that will follow. The head of AXA Security, General Mzwandile Petros, who was with SABC before, but is our security person at AXA at a macro level. The media, and thank you for responding. Dr. Motsoaledi have set the pace in terms of what happened, and all of us here, we assist with the great task of not only protecting this airport, but also ensuring safe travel for all users and guaranteeing homeland integrity. by ensuring that all those who enter and exit South Africa have the required documentations and are accounted for. We have visited this airport on countless occasions at the peak of COVID-19 pandemic and to engage South Africans on the safety measures taken across the country to protect all of us from the pandemic. This airport is a strategic asset for the Republic of South Africa and constitutes one of the major economic corridors connecting the country to the rest of the world. It is a site of national strategic importance and national key point in terms of Section 2 of the National Key Point Act. A few years back, when confronted with security issues here at OR Tambo Airport, the Interministerial Committee, constituted by the Minister of Police, State Security, Transport, sprang into action and adopted what we call a strategic tactical plan for implementation at OR Tambo International. This plan was anchored on benchmarking ourselves against the best international models in the world, continuously engaging with law enforcement partners and investing in security advancements, including integrated communication system. South Africa is a member of the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, and by virtue of that, we have to abide by ICAO standards and recommended practices, such as which SACA enforces. ICAO regularly audits its member states to ensure compliance with international standards. Among those is the fact that all airports are required to put stringent security measures as required by the Civil Aviation Regulations and the National Aviation Security Program. We were a model in terms of this in the last ICAO General Assembly, and Poppy can speak about that, can attest to that, because she won't speak today. I speak on her behalf. So we were voted #1 in terms of integrated security plan. Airlines flying into South Africa equally have to develop aircraft operator security programs as per prescribed regulations, which detail how passengers will be processed prior to embarkation. These programs are evaluated and approved by the SACA. Dr. Motsoaledi has spoken about how people use neighboring countries to gain entry into South Africa, and we are aware of that. And they must be very afraid wherever they are now. So that is legit. If you say you go to Lesotho, you are in transit in South Africa, and therefore from the point of embarkation, you will get a clean passage. And they use that as part of the syndicate that Dr. Motsoaledi have talked about to enter our country illegally. Furthermore, all airlines flying into South Africa are required to check passenger documentation before departure and forward advanced passenger information to our immigration officials before the aircraft arrives in South Africa. Aviation security is an integrated affair where a number of stakeholders play a role, and SACA ensures that the various stakeholders do play their various roles as per the dictates of the National Aviation Security Program. And through the National Aviation Security Committee, which is a multi-stakeholder committee, constantly evaluates the effectiveness of the measures applied. It is for these reasons that South Africa holds a good record of compliance with the ICAO standards and recommended practices. This is a record we intend to guard jealously, and it is the reason we will not tolerate any acts of illegality within our aviation space. As soon as we were appointed to these positions, myself and Dr. Motsoaledi, because we are new in these positions, Home Affairs and Transport, I issued on my part a directive to the board and management of Airports Company, AXA, to bolster safety and security at airports, not only at OR Tambo, but across the country. We view safety as key priority in ensuring service delivery, and therefore our primary focus is protection of passengers, crew and property. This is why in our directive we outlined the following: aviation authorities to act in concert with other law enforcement authorities to arrest the escalation of crimes against international domestic travelers, robbery of valuable cargo, facilitation of contraband and illegal immigrants. 365 days action agenda, which seeks to create a vertical alignment of policing activity through syndicated themes and activities. The insourcing of security, the annual AXA investment of approximately 437 million must be directed towards creating permanent jobs and sustainable livelihoods for those entrusted with securing our airports. Rolling out a security model in aviation that vertically and horizontally integrated with other law enforcement authorities, initially focusing on passenger security, then broadened to include cargo and infrastructure. Contribute to a new institutional arrangement that seamlessly integrates transport security and safety in a single entity, which now we've got BMA. As all of you are now aware, arrests were made, as it has been outlined, at this airport earlier this week. 4 Bangladeshi and 4 Pakistan nationals were apprehended while attempting to enter the country illegally. These illegal foreign nationals arrived on a Qatar Airways flight from Doha, Qatar, on the 15th of June 2022. This is a clear indication of our efficacy and our security systems that enable us to detect and arrest these illegal immigrants. And we salute all the officers on the ground who are in charge and have led to the apprehension of these illegal immigrants in this airport. The nature of this incident suggests a coordinated criminal effort, which will be a clear violation attack on plethora of laws governing safety and security in our country. Dr. Motsoaledi outlined that this is not the first that was aborted. This is the second that has come to the public domain. And the first also led Home Affairs and other agencies around the airport to apprehend also such modus operandi. In this airport, it is very clear that somebody is making a lot of money trying to undermine our security systems in the airport. It is not by chance that we frequently visit this place to pronounce on safety. We do so intentionally to assure those who use this airport to know and feel safe. While we are grateful that the arrest of these illegal immigrants, which is in line with our zero tolerance approach to the contravention of South Africa's immigration laws at all points of entry, we must also make sure that this incident and any potential of its reoccurrence in the future is close to nothing. As soon as the investigation is complete and the report is finalized, it will be integrated into the plan for implementation, evaluation, and strengthening our security measures in this airport as a matter of priority. When we talk about security being a multi-stakeholder responsibility, we include the public as well. We therefore are grateful for the interest you have shown as a public in this matter, in the social media and everywhere else, and want to encourage the public as well that if ever you see something that seems suspicious or out of place, please report it to the police or airport officials. This is what we call security culture, where everyone plays a part in the aviation security value chain. And our efforts in this regard of working in concert will lead to more vandalism and vanquishing of these acts at our ports of entry that include OR Tambo and many other areas across the country. As I conclude, we wish to salute all law enforcement, South African Police Service, immigration officials, AXA security, and everyone who was involved and who is involved in securing this airport to continue to do the great work. State security agency in this airport and in this country. And we as the ministers, our role is to ensure that the policy we set in place and the integrated plans we have agreed must be implemented, must be supported with massive resources to undermine any syndicates that think of making and turning our airports into nothing else but Banana Republic. Thank you very much, Dr. Motsoaledi, and everyone else. Thank you. Lwazi, you must sanitize.
Thank you very much, Minister, for reminding me that we are still indeed.
Right, we take you out of that important briefing coming out of OR Tambo International, of course, by the Department of Transport and Home Affairs. We just heard Minister Mbalula talking about their plans that they've put in place to ensure that airport security is, of course, tightened, and also just speaking about some of the measures that they've put in place. Also, we heard there how arrests were made throughout the course of this week.